Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent to me from a subscriber who's facing a dilemma where later on down the road, because of his culture and where he's from, what country he's from, one day he's going to have to go through an arranged marriage. And as you can imagine, following my channel and learning all the things he's learned, he doesn't want to do it. Okay, he doesn't want to have an arranged marriage, and I don't think the guy wants to be married, period. All right, but because of his culture and because of how things are from what country he's from, what part of the world he's from, he doesn't say what country he's from, but I have a pretty good idea based on things I've pieced together. And basically, in his culture, if a son or daughter, whoever, doesn't go along with the family's arranged marriage, it brings some serious dishonor and disgrace to the family. Okay? And so he's under a lot of pressure there. And he obviously really loves and respects his parents, is grateful for the things they've done for him. He's obviously doing well for himself. But, he doesn't want to disappoint them and hurt them. But at the same time, he doesn't want to have to go down this path and get married to someone. Number one, get married to someone he doesn't even know and have an arranged marriage. But number two, get married to begin with. Okay? So he emailed me his situation, his story, and he wanted to hear my advice in the situation. So I'm going to go over his story here, and at the end, let him know what I think. It starts off saying, "Hello, I just recently found your channel, and your videos are amazing. Thank you. I give you an idea of what kind of person I am. I spend my time alone, and I generally enjoy being alone. I have a small group of friends, of great friends, and I hang out with them quite often, so I'm by no means lonely." You sound like me, man. I'm an introvert. I spend a lot of time by myself, focusing obviously on my goals, my ambitions, and things like that. Obviously on this channel, all the work that goes into that. But I also have a really good group of great friends I hang out with from time to time, and I'm happy. So you sound like me. I'm not into the whole relationship thing, and I'm not going to waste my time looking for one right now. I enjoy improving myself and constantly trying new things. I don't go out of my way to show respect to women. I treat them the same way I treat everyone else. That's how you do it. Never ever put them on a pedestal. Never treat them better than anybody else. Treat all women the same. Treat women the same as you would a guy. And he says here, for example, I hold the door open for them if they're right behind me the same way I do for guys and friends. But I generally try to avoid interacting with them. My issue is that my marriage will one day be an arranged one. It's going to be set up by my parents, and I'm against that. I absolutely love and respect them. Without them, I would never have gotten as far as I have without them. However, they don't understand anything from an emotional perspective. I'm a green card holder and a permanent United States resident. I was not born in America, and I'm not an American citizen yet. In my hometown where I was born, it is an unspoken cultural law that arranged marriages should be conducted. Not abiding by this would bring dishonor and shame to your family. In most cases, people who marry based on love end up getting divorced. People who marry based on love end up getting disowned. So obviously it's all arranged marriages over there. So I'm sure you guys could probably figure out what part of the world he comes from. Well, guess what? Whether in terms of like a divorced, whether you're arranged, it's interesting because that part of the world, from what I've heard, the people that get arranged marriages tend to stay together because obviously if they don't, it's disgrace and shame to the family. I mean, you want to talk about pressure, but over here, people don't do it. They don't do arranged marriages here in the West. They do it all for love. But if we're being honest here, all marriages are a business deal at the end of the day, okay? For the woman, it's obviously resources, and the guy's there to obviously help provide, and that way she can be a mother and do the family thing, because most women want to have children. And for the guy, it's also, if he obviously wants to have kids, he can then carry on the family name and have, and things like that. And of course, in his mind, he thinks he can get steady ass. But as we all know, it doesn't work that way. But I can't imagine the pressure it is on somebody that they have to get married, and not only that, but have to be arranged with somebody they never even met, just to make the family happy, just so you don't dishonor the family. I mean, that's a lot of fucking pressure. I feel bad for this guy. At first, when I realized I wasn't able to find the one perfect person, I fell into depression. But through research, I eventually pulled myself out of it and came out stronger than ever with the idea that I do not need women. Dude, there is no perfect one, okay? That's a myth. That's a bunch of crap sold in movies and television and romance novels and songs on the radio. It's selling a dream, okay? It doesn't work that way. And besides, you got almost 8 billion people on the planet, more or less, half are men, half are women. I don't know the exact statistic. I'm sure somebody's going to tell me the exact statistic in the comments section, because I got people like that will do that. But bottom line is, it's pretty much 50-50, okay? So if that's what a guy wants in this world, guess what? There's plenty of women that he can meet that can, basically, if he wants to get settled down and have a good thing with, at least if he wants to go down that route and try that, okay, and does everything right, and she actually isn't a nutcase. But I don't recommend it, but I'm just saying is this whole idea about the one perfect person, it's the biggest load of bullshit that's sold every day, and people still buy into it. So don't worry about that, man, okay? So through my research and self-reflecting, I realized that women have always been nothing but a distraction. I don't mind being friends with them. I have one particular close friend I treat like a brother. But in most interactions with women, I find it quite annoying and unpleasant. Yeah, pretty much. Over the years when I was young, especially when I was younger, I had a lot of friends that were girls. But as I've gotten older, it's less and less. And now I'm acquainted with women, okay? But I don't ever hang out with women as a friend. I have zero. Number one, I don't have the time. And two, if I'm going to actually spend time with a woman, you're damn well make sure I'm sleeping with her. Okay, that's the only reason I'm going to be spending a time with a woman. That's it. Okay, obviously I got women in my family that I'm obviously friends with and close with. That's family, and I have women that I'm acquainted with, like women I've known for a few years through like for instance my martial arts schools. I could be out somewhere and run into them and chit chat, say, hey, how are you? And or my buddies' wives or girlfriends, their friends or friends. Nothing more than acquaintances. I don't hang out with them. And by the way, yes, they are a distraction, because if you're a guy and your purpose and you're trying to make things happen for yourself, girlfriends, wives, they slow you down because they want the attention on them. They don't want your focus on your other stuff, even though they should be happy that you're trying to improve yourself because it makes them look better. It's a big mess. But in most interactions with women, I find it quite annoying and unpleasant. I observe many scenarios, and most of the time I see them with ulterior motives, and know that they are many great women, but I don't want to take any chances falling into a bad relationship. Ever since I took my mind off women, I have become a much better person. I work out more, I enjoy life better as whole, and I have more time to work on my life goals or becoming an entrepreneur. That's great, man. Add to the list, you can save more money. You wouldn't believe the amount of money you can save by not dating lots and lots of women, okay, or being in a relationship, because that's a money pit, man. I'm telling you now. You can say, obviously this guy's young, so save your money, grow it, invest it, okay? Build that nest egg. The more money you have, the more comfort you can have, the more of a freedom you can have, because what that money can help you buy. And at the end of the day, it's an insurance policy when shit happens in life, because shit is always going to happen. So guys, I always encourage you, save your money, watch your spending, have a budget, invest that money, grow it, okay? Because again, money's freedom. And as for like enjoying his life better, yeah, you're not going to have the distractions, okay? But if you do eventually one day want to date because you obviously want to get laid, go for it, but just understand, spend most of your time working on your purpose, especially when you're young. This guy's obviously young. I'm going to guess probably early to mid-20s, so this is prime time. Work on your goals and your ambitions. And later on, if you change your mind and, with regards to women, You've had your 20s to get your shit together, go for your goals, and become an entrepreneur, like you just said. Save a bunch of money. However, it's starting to dawn on me that one day I will be forced into a relationship. The words he chose there, forced into a relationship. Can you imagine that, guys? Poor guy. I mean, I was born and raised here in the United States. We don't have that type of thing here, but that's a lot on one's shoulders to bear. I by no means don't want to get married to a woman whom I do not know much about and don't love. I don't care if she is a solid 10. I know some women are very devious, and I don't want to be subjected to the torture of being in an unhappy marriage. I wouldn't mind getting married. So he says he wouldn't mind one day. I wouldn't mind getting married, but I don't want to be with some random woman. I brought it up to my parents before, and they just brush it off. They say it's not a big deal, and I shouldn't worry too much about it. Probably because to them, first of all, probably because that's their culture, and that's what they're used to, and that's what their parents did, and that's what their parents did before them, and going back probably centuries or even 1,000 years, depending on where you are from the part of the world. So that's normal, so they're not going to think about it. And most people don't, when it comes to cultural things, traditions and things like that, most people don't really think about those things. They don't think about why things are the way they are. Why did things become that way? And they certainly don't think of ever changing it, because honestly, statistically, I've heard 60% of the people in this world are sheep, and they're just going to go along with whatever the herd does. They're not going to question anything because they don't want to be, the outsider. They don't want to risk that. But this guy, obviously, he's not that way, and so he doesn't want to be in a situation like them and be unhappy. But he's at this crossroads. What do I do one day, right? He says, my parents are great in every other way, but this is something I don't want to settle with them on. I still have a decent amount of time before they make me get married, so I want to find a way out of this. I don't expect a direct, instant solve or answer from you. I just want to hear your opinion and thoughts on this scenario. I understand that in the end, it'll be up to me to solve this issue, but I just want to get someone else's opinion on this matter. Thank you very much for your time. Okay, so long story short, this guy is going to have to basically come down to the choice one day whether he wants to do what makes him happy in this world, or he's going to do what makes his parents happy, therefore to make them happy and not, like he said, bring dishonor or disgrace or shame on the family. But here's the question for this guy, and if he's watching this, he's obviously going to watch this. What's more important to you? Your own personal happiness in this world, or sacrificing that and risking a life of being very unhappy, full of regret, always thinking about what if, to please your parents? And let's just say you go down that route, you do the arranged marriage, you want to make them happy, okay? Obviously then probably because of culture you're going to have children, and one day, let's just say 25 years from now, you're going to have kids, and they could be in the same situation, and they may not want to do the same thing. And then you're going to then see your kids go through the same damn thing. Do you want that? Okay? And it's a possibility that, let's just say you do the arranged marriage, your wife or your parents, if they're still alive, or her parents, they're going to be pressuring your children, and you're not going to want to see that. So, a lot of these traditions, either cultural traditions, certain rules that come from cultural traditions, or rules that come from religions, in some cases they can be almost one and the same. That's somebody else's idea on how to live. That's somebody else's idea how things should be. And that may have worked for 1,000 years or centuries, but the world has definitely changed a lot in the last 100 years, especially in the last 30 years, thanks to the internet, making the world a much smaller place. And people in parts of the world that were never exposed to other ways of living are now seeing that. And a lot of people, and I guarantee you this guy writing this email, he can't be the only one from his part of the world that doesn't like this idea, doesn't want to do it. There's eventually a point where somebody has to finally stand up for themselves and say, hey, mom and dad, I respect you, I love you, but you know what? This is not the life for me. I know in my gut it's not for me, it's wrong, so I'm sorry. As much as I respect you and I don't want to disappoint you, I cannot do this, and that's that. And so that guy, someone in that situation would either basically, they would have to go off on the path where basically mom and dad are disappointed. They've bought into the shame on the family and all that, because at the end of the day, if they allow themselves to be perceived that way, that's on them. And then this guy would then go about his life on his own and choose to live it the way he wants to live. Or he, again, goes along with mom and dad, what they want to do, and they can not have shame on the family, but he then spends his life regretting that decision and being unhappy. So what would I do in that situation? Well, again, like I said, I was born here in the United States. I don't know what that kind of pressure is like. Okay, I can't say that I know what it's like but I can try to have empathy. And if it was me, because ever since pretty much since I could walk, I've pretty much have done things what I wanted to do, and a lot of times it's been unpopular. I drove my parents crazy growing up. If this was me, based on what I know about women, what I know about the world, what about my life experience, I would sit the parents down and I would tell them as patiently and with as much kindness and respect, this is not for me. I don't want this type of life. I don't want the arranged marriage. And if this guy, again, this guy says one day he may want to get married. I've gone all the warnings about getting married in this day and age, but at the end of the day, he's got to do what he wants to do. If he wants to do that one day, that's fine. But again, if it was me, I would tell the parents, I'm just not interested. I respect you. I love you. Thank you for everything you've done for me, but I can't do it. And here's the reason why. And I would list all my reasons. And then, after doing all that and saying it with as much respect as possible, if they decide to, disown me or basically not talk to me for a long time, that's the choice I would make. That's the sacrifice I would make for my freedom, for having the life I want. Because I know, and this is again based on what I would do, I know that you got one life to live. Unless somebody can show me some concrete evidence that reincarnation's real and we all get to come back and do it again in a different body or whatever, you got one shot. So I would, again, respectfully tell them it's not for me. And then whatever happens, happens, okay? And if they decide not to talk to you anymore and you're shunned by your parents and your family and culture, that is a very hard sacrifice you got to make for your own happiness. But clearly, this guy cannot be the only one from his part of the world, his country, his culture, that doesn't like this. So him doing that could get somebody else to realize, I'm going to be brave like this guy. And that could spread, because there's no way he's the only one. Or the guy goes along with their plan to make them happy, and he spends his whole life regretting it, being unhappy, and always wondering what if. And then his children will be in the same situation 20, 25 years in the future, and I know he doesn't want that. So, to the guy who sent me this email, that's what I would do. That's what I think about the situation. But as he said, he's young, he still has time, so you got plenty of time to really think about things, what you really want, and go from there. So, but in life, guys, as a man, you got to go your own way. You got to forge your own path in life. Because again, you only got one shot at life. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let this guy know what you think about this, okay? And if for any of you guys that are a part of the world right now, or lived in a part of the world where the situation was the same thing with an arranged marriage or a strict culture or whatever happens to be similar to this guy, and you have been in that situation, leave a comment below, because I guarantee he's going to read it, and let him know how you handled that situation. Did you go along with the arranged marriage? Were you happy going along with the arranged marriage? Or did you go your own way and disappoint the family? What happened? Let him know. This will help him. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.